Let's cover a couple more commands. We're going to go over Winver, Hostname, and Pathping. We'll start with Winver, which is short for Windows version. And if I type that in the command line in Windows, we'll have a GUI window pop up that tells us the Windows version. And if we look here, we see the Windows 10 Pro operating system. So we know we're running Windows 10 Pro. And then we see the actual version here, in this case 21H1, which for me is set to be end of life in about 6 months. At that point, I will need to either upgrade to a newer version of Windows 10 or upgrade to Windows 11. So that's the Winver command, pretty basic. The next command on the list is hostname. If we type in hostname in our command line, it'll tell us the name of the computer. This computer's name is dpro. And that's it, pretty basic command. You can find out this information in a variety of places and different ways. And you can also change the name if you wish to. And so one way to do that is to go to Settings. And within Settings, go to the System category. Then scroll down and go to About. In the About section, you'll see the device name and whatever that name is, in this case again, dpro. And if you want to change that, you go to Rename this PC. Click on that and you can change the name to whatever you wish. Another way to do this is to go to the Run prompt and type in something like System Properties Computer Name and press Enter. That'll bring up the System Properties dialog box. And again, we can see the name here. And if you want to rename the computer, you go down here and click on the Change button and change the name right up here. You could also change what type of network you connect to from here as well. And finally, the Pathping command. If we type Pathping, this will run a command that'll check the connection from your local system out to whatever destination you want. It could be something very simple, such as my gateway address, which is 10.42.0.1 on my local area network. And if we press Enter for that, it'll do that pretty quickly. It'll say, okay, here is the gateway, pf1.localdomain, 10.42.0.1. And this is the actual IP of my system. And then it takes a little time to give all the statistics and all the ping information, the ICMP echoes, how long the pings took to get to each hop along the way. So we'll let that compute for a moment and open up another PowerShell here and run a separate command. Now, normally you'd run a command like pathping in the same manner that you would run tracert. And you're trying to see all of the hops or routers between you and a final destination. So for example, you might do something like this, some domain out on the internet, and that's fine. But that may take some time. Pathping can be a little bit slow, especially when calculating the results. So if we do something like this and do a ping on example.com, we'll see the IP address. And we can get the results a little bit faster if we run the pathping to that IP instead of by name. And it's usually IP address that I'm interested in as an admin. And so we'll see the same information as before because this gateway is the first step out to the network. And then it'll show the rest of the hops to the rest of the routers through the internet. But again, it can be a little time consuming, as you can see here. Let's go back to the first guy here. And we see, well, computing statistics for 25 seconds. It's still computing. And so if you don't get results, you can press Control-C to get out of this. And then you may get your actual results at that point. And it does say here 1 hop, and that is my gateway address. and there were 0 lost packets, 0 lost pings. So that's good. Go back to the other PowerShell, and it's still actually sitting. This command may work sometimes, and it may not work sometimes. In fact, before recording this video, it worked fine. And I'll just check the IP, make sure that I'm pinging the right thing, 93.184.216.34. And like I say, sometimes it'll work properly, sometimes it won't. We could try another one, or we could try to break out of it. And if we press Control-C, it may force the command to work more properly. And you can see it's finishing up now. And it'll go ahead and compute the statistics, in this case for 3 minutes or just under. So that's a little bit too long for me. Most of the time I'll use tracert and use the parameter -D to make it IP only. And I'll usually go with tracert over Pathping or some type of third-party utility. So we'll press Control-C one more time to break out of here. And we don't actually get the results, but it does break us out of the command at least. And you can see each of the IP addresses for each router on the intranet that it goes through to the final destination. So very similar to tracert. So that's a couple more commands you should know: Winver, Hostname, and Pathping for the exam.